Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about something a bit more complex. So if you are in any way uncertain about any other part of array writing, definitely verify and clarify all those things first. So moving into this exponents worksheet is completely put into this array. And what we're going to talk about now is this little weird doodad that I have recently added in. Here's how it works. So basically what we're going to do is we want the chatbot, the VMH, to be able to auto-respond sometimes if the answer is very, very simple, right? If the answer is literally 27, as it is in this case, if the student types 27, it can just say yes, you know? We don't need to wait for that to happen. We don't need the student to have to wait for those extra couple of seconds before we get to them. So it's going to make our jobs more, much easier, and it's going to, speed up the process for the students. So, basically, all we have to do is less than sign, ANS for ants, right? And then a space, okay? And then now we're going to get into a thing called regex. Many of you will have heard of this because we did have like a tutorial posted on Slack a while back, and basically we just talk about it all the time. But regex does a couple of things. It functions very differently from the coding that we've regularly been used to for the VMH. There's going to be a couple of things that happen differently. For example, this caret symbol means this must be the start of the line. It indicates the start of the thing, right? 2 and 7 are totally fine. It's going to match the characters 2 and 7 exactly. And then the dollar sign indicates the ending position of the line, right? So what does that mean? Just to finish this off, it would then have, this greater than symbol. So what does that mean? It means that this will accept 27, but it will not accept 227. It will not accept 275. And it also isn't going to accept space 27 or 27 space or 27 space 14, right? So any extra things that the student decides to add in, it's not going to work. Basically, the goal of this is just to capture the vast majority of students who do it right. Sometimes students are going to put typos. It doesn't matter. That's not what we're looking for here, right? So for simple numbers, this is very, very basic. Starting position, ending position, 27. Recognize that only the things, so we have, bracket, ANS, space, only the things after that space, that's the regex, or regex, sorry. Everything else is not regex, okay? So everything outside of these little bracket symbols, greater than, less than signs, is going to be coded the same way that you're used to with all the regular stuff. Asterisks, turn things bold, all that jazz, right? Inside these, however, a lot of these symbols are going to have different things. So we've got, 9, 3, 1, all those are regular. Now we get to 1/3. In order to code 1/3, this slash symbol means something inside of regex. So we have to slash it out, right? So we're going to forward slash to slash out the backslash. It's very, very silly. But, it's just a thing that we have to do. So we can see that down here as well. 1 slash out the slash, 9, 1 slash out the slash, 27. And still we have asserting the beginning position and the ending position. So this is going to accept 1/8, but it's not going to accept 1/88 or 12/88. It's not going to accept any of that, right? Once we get through these fractions, I'm going to teach you another thing. So parentheses inside of regex mean something very particular. It is what's called a capturing group, but that's not really the part that matters. What it does is it allows us to indicate that we want to capture either one thing or another thing. Okay, so here we have the starting position of the line. I'll put this over here. The starting position. This is going to indicate that we're going to capture either one thing or another. The first thing is exactly the character X. And then recognize that because that caret symbol means the starting position of the line, instead we're going to slash it out. So we're going to slash out the caret symbol. That's going to get us directly the symbol, the caret symbol, right? So if the student types a caret, that's what's going to trigger this. And then exactly the character 7. So X caret 7 will be accepted, and nothing else, right? That's it. Then here's our second thing. So the vertical bar indicates or. And our second thing is X, exactly the caret X, character X, and then exactly the character Unicode 7 exponent. exactly that. This parenthesis ends the group, right? So the group that states the either or, and then the $sign, as we know, indicates the ending position of the line. So we can see that come up here as well, right? 3, the caret, the character caret, right? So we have to slash it out to get the character. 9, or 3, Unicode exponent 9. Same for some of these other ones. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is in 16 here. So again, we have the starting position of the line, indicates the beginning. We're going to capture either one thing or another. The first thing that we are accepting here, the character X, the character caret symbol, right? So it's slashed out. Now we have the character parenthesis, right? So recognize the other parenthesis starts a capturing group. We can't do that, so we have to slash it out. This is going to capture the character, the actual character itself, instead of, creating another group. So slash parenthesis. And then this star symbol. So now we've got a differentiation. Inside of regex, the star symbol means either 0 or more than 0 times. So 0, 1, all the way up to infinity, right? What does that mean? It means that this parenthesis symbol should either appear 0 times or 1 time, or technically it allows for more than 1 time, right? I like to think of the asterisk as the or not, okay? So what I'm saying here is I want there to be an X, then I want there to be a caret symbol, and then I want there to be a parenthesis or not, right? So most of the time people are not going to put like 17 parentheses. It would accept it if it did put 17 parentheses, but they're just not going to do that. So this is a parenthesis or not. Then we're going to capture A, we're going to capture a space or not, right? We're going to capture a plus sign. The plus sign also has a meaning inside of regex, so it does have to be slashed out. And then we're going to capture another space or not, right? So that space does not have to be there, but it can be. Then we're going to capture exactly the character B, and then we're going to capture an ending parenthesis, which is also slashed out, or not, right? So that ending parenthesis also does not have to be there. What does this mean? It means that the student could type X caret A plus B. They could type X caret parenthesis A plus B, end parenthesis. They could type X caret A space plus space B, X caret parenthesis A space plus space B. So we're looking at, kind of all of the very obvious ways that the student might type it out. Maybe they'll put parentheses, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll put those spaces, maybe they won't. That's what we're kind of trying to get at, right? And then, as we know, so we started a group, an either or group. Here's our or bar. And then we're also going to capture A, and then the Unicode exponent A, Unicode exponent plus sign, Unicode exponent B. Every once in a while, students will get really, really excited and crafty, and they will put in something like this, so they'll actually use the Unicode characters that we give them. That's totally acceptable. And so we just put that in there. This last parenthesis ends our capturing group, and then the $sign asserts the ending position of the line. We've got a lot of other things like that, right? So again, here we have that plus sign slashed out because we want to capture the character. Here, these spaces, you can see they are required. They do not have the asterisk to say or not. And then just basic stuff, right? X caret A or X Unicode exponent A. One note on number 18. A lot of times students will type either a hyphen or Word will turn a subtraction sign into this, the second bigger subtraction sign that you see over here. It'll turn it into that every once in a while. Sometimes they'll use both. Anytime I'm looking for a subtraction sign in an answer, I will always just include this. Feel free to just store this somewhere and save it. If you can't find it, and you want to create it again, the hyphen is just, next to the 0. That one's regular. The minus sign you can create by just typing, 7 space minus space 8 and then hit another space. It should automatically turn into that big minus sign and you can copy it over. So, what do we have next? The next one, so again, this one's fairly basic. We've got those minus sign options. That's pretty good. So the next one I want to go over is down here, 36. 36 is pretty complicated, and it has a lot of either ors, right? Either this or this or this other thing or this other thing. It's got a bunch of options in here. So let's start. Caret asserts the beginning position of the line. Parenthesis tells us that we're going to have either one thing or maybe some other things as well. This is going to accept exactly the characters SQRT. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. SQRT, exactly that. Then we're going to have a space or not. We're going to have a parenthesis, which is slashed out, or not, right? Then we're going to capture exactly the numbers 1 and 7, and then we're going to have another parenthesis slashed out, or not, right? Another parenthesis. Then we have this or bar, and we also are willing to accept, as an answer, the square root Unicode symbol, and then the numbers 1 and 7, right? That one's totally acceptable. Or, here's our vertical bar again, we can accept SQUARE space ROOT, right? So the entire word's square roots. We're going to capture all those words exactly. And then a space, which is required in this case. You can see that one's required space over here. And then the character, parenthesis, starting parenthesis, or not. And then the number 17, and then the end parenthesis, or not, right? So if the student types out the entirety of square root 17, that's acceptable. If they type SQRT 17, that's acceptable. If they type it with a space in between the square root and the 17, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. If they use parenthesis or not, that's fine. All those things are acceptable. And then we have our final or. We're also willing to accept just RT for square root, that's fine. And then a space or not, parenthesis or not, 17, and then parenthesis or not. This parenthesis closes our capturing group, and then this $ asserts the ending position of the line, right? So all of these things are acceptable. It will accept any of those. It's a lot of different options available to you, so that's pretty cool. And then I want to also go over number 40 down here. So now we've got cubed root, right? And there's a couple of options. Let me actually put my cursor there. So we have a couple of options. We can accept the words cubed root with spaces required, okay? And then here, notice that this parenthesis is not slashed out. That means we're creating another group. So this group contains the words of, the letters of, OF, right? So this is saying we are going to capture the entire word of, OF, or not, because we have our little asterisk, right? So of or not. They can put cubed root 9 or cubed root of 9. Either of those would be acceptable. Then this second space is either a space or not, because if of is there, there's probably going to be an additional space. If of is not there, there's not going to be an additional space, and we already have this one space required, right? So if the other space were required, you'd have to have cubed root space 9, which would be silly. So this space or not, parenthesis or not, right? 9 and then parenthesis or not. Or we are willing to accept cube root, right? So they could put cube. Another way of writing this, by the way, is actually just to put CUBED star. That star will only apply to the one thing that comes before it, only the exactly one thing that comes before it. So I could have written it that way. I was actually, when I made this, getting back into regex. So this one's a little bit more laborious than it needs to be. You'll get much quicker and you'll make these much more condensed. That's the whole kind of point of, this is basic coding, but yeah. So where are we? We have cube root. Those spaces are required. Again, we have the entire word of or not. We have a space or not. We have a parenthesis, all that jazz. So that's actually literally just copied over. Or, vertical bar, we can accept CU space RT, right? So maybe they want to shorten it or something. And it's got those options there. So this is allowing parentheses or not. It's allowing spaces or not. It's allowing all sorts of things. But in this particular case, I don't want them to write cubed root with no space in the middle. That's a little bizarre. So I'm not going to accept that, right? In the next video, I am going to tell you how to check all of these things. There is a way to check all of these things. Do not panic. But for right now, I just wanted to kind of show you this, and also I'm about to run out of time on my video. So that's all for this video. Check in on the next one.